What happens when the world's most destructive submarine, the crown jewel of Russia's nuclear arsenal, is no longer a secret? What happens when Ukraine not only sees it, but cracks its digital vault wide open? This isn't just another cyber attack. It's a direct hit on the heart of Russia's most sensitive nuclear defense system. And if that wasn't enough to shake the Kremlin, Dmitry Medvedev is back, red-faced, raging, and rattling the nuclear sabers yet again. But here's the twist. Ukraine isn't flinching. Instead, they've gone on the offensive, digitally, strategically, and on the battlefield. This is not just an update, it's a seismic shift in the intelligence war between Kyiv and Moscow. Ukraine's military intelligence, GUR, has pulled off one of the boldest cyber operations in modern military history. No, this wasn't a simple leak or a careless upload. This was a targeted infiltration, a deliberate hack of Russia's most prized naval weapon, the Project 955A submarine known as Kasparski. This is not your average sub. The Kasparski represents Russia's next-generation underwater warfare, an ultra-quiet, sonar-absorbing, missile-loaded behemoth capable of carrying 30 nuclear ICBMs. These are not just any missiles. These are Bulava 30 missiles, engineered to fly 10,000 kilometers, enough to reach nearly any target on the globe, from deep below the ocean's surface. The Russians boast about the submarine's ability to launch missiles without surfacing, using a unique air bubble technology that eliminates water friction, allowing a stealthy, frictionless launch. It's what gives them the edge, or so they thought. Ukraine just shattered that illusion. Ukrainian intelligence infiltrated Russian military servers and extracted not just specs, but explosives data. And this wasn't some passive exposure by careless third-party contractors like the ones who previously leaked nuclear infrastructure maps online. This was an intentional, strategic, and silent takedown. The breach has compromised critical information about the submarine's inner workings, vulnerabilities, and deployment protocols. The implications are massive. Not only can Ukraine potentially neutralize this threat, but it also proves a chilling reality for Russia. Even its most guarded secrets are no longer safe. Just as Russia reels from this intelligence disaster, the Kremlin's most unhinged mouthpiece, Dmitry Medvedev, emerges from silence. And what does he do? He delivers yet another chilling declaration, hinting at withdrawing from the moratorium on deploying medium and short-range nuclear missiles. According to him, NATO's anti-Russian behavior has forced Moscow to consider drastic steps. Translation? The veiled threats are no longer veiled. Russia is once again threatening the use of nuclear force, and this time, it's specifically targeting NATO territories. Medvedev's latest tantrum, though brushed off by many, carries weight. Because when Medvedev speaks, he doesn't speak for himself. He's voicing what Putin cannot say publicly. Meanwhile, chilling maps circulate online showing that Russia's population is mostly clustered in a few regions, particularly Moscow and St. Petersburg. This exposes a paradox. For all the bluster, Russia is terrifyingly vulnerable. A nuclear conflict would devastate its own heartlands, raising the question, is Medvedev bluffing, or is Moscow actually spiraling toward desperation? Russia isn't stopping at digital warfare or nuclear threats. In a newly published intelligence document, Russian sources now accuse British and Ukrainian agencies of plotting a coordinated attack on Russia's Shadow fleet, tankers operating in international waters. According to Moscow, this operation will be conducted by Ukraine, but orchestrated by Britain, with the goal of sabotaging the Russian oil export system. But this document, far from being a revelation, looks more like a setup, a classic false flag operation in motion. Analysts suspect Russia might attack its own ships in the Gulf of Finland or Baltic Sea and blame the West, just as it has done before. Such an act could be used to justify military escalation, possibly even direct confrontation with NATO. It's no coincidence that Russian and Belarusian troops are about to launch joint military drills. These exercises are reminiscent of the 2022 build-up to the invasion of Ukraine, when troops thought they were training, but were actually being deployed for war. Once again, the world is watching. The risk of provocation is high. The consequences, potentially catastrophic. Back in Ukraine, a different kind of war is being fought in the skies. Russia is now arming its Shahed drones, once simple kamikaze drones, with advanced cluster munitions. These aren't just makeshift explosives. We're talking about KTM-3 shells designed to target armored vehicles. Equipped with magnetic triggers, these drones are evolving into precision strike machines. And what's more concerning, Russia is ramping up production. With new factories coming online in Russia and North Korea, experts predict Russia could manufacture up to 1,000 drones per day. That's not just an upgrade, that's mass aerial terror. Their strategy? Overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses, target civilian infrastructure, wear down the population's will to fight. But Ukraine is adapting fast. Surveillance has already pinpointed new drone launch sites, including the ruins of Donetsk airport. Given its proximity to the front lines, a Ukrainian counterstrike could be imminent. Launchers could be wiped out before they even get a chance to take off. In the face of Russia's growing threat, the Netherlands has stepped up in a massive way. Committing €500 million, the Dutch government is now funding the purchase of PAC-3 missiles, the most advanced interceptors used by Patriot air defense systems. Each missile costs upwards of $3 million, and they're critical in intercepting ballistic missiles and high-speed aerial threats like the Shaheds. This makes the Netherlands the first country to contribute under the new US-led Pearl Initiative, prioritized European acquisition for the requirements list. Through this program, NATO allies purchase American weapons using their own funds, directly supplying Ukraine with what it needs most. Every missile launched is another Ukrainian life saved, another drone shot down, another building left standing. Across the globe, the geopolitical puzzle deepens. India continues to purchase massive quantities of Russian oil, even reselling refined products on the open market for profit. President Donald Trump called them out, accusing India of profiting while Ukrainians suffer. But critics point out the irony. Trump himself previously blocked aid to Ukraine while out of office, pressuring Congress against military support. And while India shrugs off the criticism, its oil companies are quietly shifting gears, buying more from the US and Canada. Is it a diplomatic pivot? Possibly. Meanwhile, China openly refuses to stop buying Russian and Iranian oil, remaining steadfast in its alliance with Moscow. China is even conducting amphibious landing drills near Taiwan, showing off aircraft carriers, drones, and simulated assaults. But despite the military theater, analysts warn that any real invasion attempt would be a logistical nightmare, an operation unmatched in scale since World War II. Amidst the military chaos, political games continue. Vivek Ramaswamy, a known pro-Russian voice in American politics, is set to visit Moscow, allegedly at Russia's request. Even Trump, in a recent interview, admitted the Kremlin initiated the meeting. Observers worry this is Russia's last-ditch attempt to sway Western opinion, especially with Ramaswamy previously parroting Moscow's narratives, suggesting Ukraine should surrender territory and that NATO provoked the war. The concern? If Trump returns to power and listens to voices like Vitkov, sanctions might be lifted, and Russia could be emboldened again. Back on the ground, Ukraine continues its silent sabotage campaign. Rail infrastructure in the Rostov region, a vital Russian supply hub for the Eastern Front, was struck again. Though the damage appears limited, these repeated hits are chipping away at Russia's logistics. Each disruption delays equipment, ammunition, and reinforcements, slowly bleeding Russia's war machine from within. And in a curious twist, Luisa Rozova, the alleged illegitimate daughter of Vladimir Putin, has resurfaced on social media. Once vanished from public life, she now claims, "It feels good to show my face again." Though never confirmed, many speculate she is indeed Putin's daughter. Some reports even suggested she blamed him for ruining her life, though these posts can no longer be verified. She's also been spotted attending anti-war exhibitions in Paris, further fueling speculation that not everyone in Putin's inner circle, or even his family, is standing with him. And as if to punctuate this week's revelations, Ukraine launched a powerful strike on the Saki military airfield in Crimea. According to Ukrainian officials, this was another precision hit, targeting Russian infrastructure deep behind the lines. The psychological impact is just as powerful as the physical. Crimea, once considered untouchable by Moscow, is now fair game.